Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to our normal bat time and bat channel that had been going on for a long time. Then some technical issues came along, trying to do some tests and some different setups with this webcam I bought I'm trying to set up. Hopefully I've gotten to where I'm comfortable where it is now, so we'll see if we can keep it consistent going forward. We are on another game in the June 17th date. Game 439 overall in the replay. We're at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto for the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Exhibition Stadium is a symmetrical ballpark. Singles are 1 to 9, home runs 1 to 11, both sides of the plate. Starting pitchers, lefty Frank Tanana on the mound for the Tigers, and right-hander Jim Clancy on the mound for the Blue Jays. Clancy, wild pitch of 10, balk of 2. Tanana, wild pitch of 5, balk of 0. Neither pitcher very good holding runners. Clancy's going to be a +3 when you combine him with Charlie Moore. And Frank Tanana is going to be a +2 when you combine him with Matt Noakes. So let's get this puppy rolling. And like I said, I'm going to hope that this is a good presentation setup so that you can see as much as possible. I do realize when we get to about the 7th inning, I'm going to have to move the cards over. It's the only way I'm going to be able to do it. Either that or back the camera up so it's not as close. One of the two. And I'll try to figure out eventually which will work the best. So let's get this hopefully where it needs to be. All right, so leading things off will be, well, first of all, let's get to the actual numbers for Jim Clancy. On the real season, Jim Clancy, 15-11 with a 3.54 ERA. On the replays, 8-2 with a 3.92 ERA, 96 hits, 96 innings pitched, 102 hits allowed. Lou Whitaker will lead it off for the Tigers. He's hitting 281 on the replay, 13 homers, 45 driven in. He had 265 real world. And we're underway from Toronto, 6'9", and that's going to be a solid single for Lou Whitaker. Whitaker leads off with the base hit. And, of course, with that +3 pitcher-catcher hold quotient, Whitaker will be looking to get a good lead. He needs a 4 or a 5 to get that good lead. Hello, Tribe fan. 9 is not going to be a good lead, so he will hold. And here comes the designated hitter, Bill Madlock. Madlock hitting 286 on the replay, just 49 at bats since coming over from the Dodgers. On the real season, he had 279, 14 homers, 50 driven in. Get a 5-12 on Clancy. That's a ground ball pitcher B, so they get the fielder's choice. It's going to go 1 to 4. And I can already see I committed what may be a cardinal sin, and that is I started the game without the ceremonial first sip. See, I'm trying to get back in the saddle again, like Aerosmith sang, trying to get back into my rhythm. And I forgot the all-important ceremonial first sip. So we had 2 at-bats without the ceremonial first sip. So I guess it's not so ceremonial today, but it is there. All right, here's Kirk Gibson. And Madlock is no threat to run, by the way. Kirk Gibson hitting 346 on the replay, 11 homers, 35 driven in. He had 277 in the actual season. That's a 2, chance for balk or pass ball. We are looking at a balk chance on Clancy. His balk rating is only a 2. So there will be no balk. He'll step back in and face Kirk Gibson. Hello, Jeremiah. That's a 5-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. We are looking at Barfield. He's a 1. But with the runner on base, we're still going to roll the D20 because it's possible that I think if we roll a 1 and a 1, the Madlock might take second base. So just to be sure, it's a 3, 1 and a 3, but I think that's still going to keep Madlock at first base, pretty sure. You see, a 1 and a 1 would have been an F1, and Madlock would have moved up, but F2, he's not going anywhere. That's a 9, and Barfield is an E3. Only errors are 3, 18, and 15. So Barfield makes the play. 2 down. And that'll take us to arguably the top hitter in the league in the replay, and that's Alan Trammell. Trammell is hitting .422, 15 homers, 53 driven in. This is in 206 at bats, so it's not like he only has a small sample size. He's doing it over the long haul. He did hit .343 real world. Don't know if he can keep it up and hit 400 for the season, but we will find out. That's a .311, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-9, but that's a 12. So he will line it to short, and that will do it for the Tigers. So Clancy gets out of the first with no damage done. And we go to the bottom of the first. Detroit nothing, and the Blue Jays coming to bat. And it'll be left-hander Frank Tanana getting the call. Tanana 15-10 on the real season with a .391 earned run average. Those are his real-world numbers. On the replay, not doing quite as well. He's 3-5 with an ERA of 4.98, 78 innings pitched, 86 hits. So definitely not doing as well in the replay as he did in the real season, but still a lot of season to turn things around. Tony Fernandez will lead off for the Blue Jays. Fernandez hitting .358, 2 homers, 24 driven in the replay. He hit .322 in the real season. 1-5 against the lefty, and that's a home run 1-10, and that's an 8. Tony Fernandez leads off the ball game with a home run. That is his 3rd home run of the season. He hit 5 real world, but he leads off the game with a home run 1-5. It's a split chance on a 1-10, and that's an 8. So there you go. Tony Fernandez starts things off. In fact, I'll get a little closer if I can. Here we go. 1-5 is that 1-10 for a home run, and that 8 on the double die gives him that home run. So home run for Tony Fernandez. That, again, is his 3rd in the replay. He had 5 real world. Not known for his power per se, but he certainly did it there. And that'll bring up Lloyd Moseby. Moseby, the center fielder, is hitting .348 on the replay. 18 homers, 61 driven in. He hit .282 real world. 6-8, and that's a strikeout. So Tanana comes back and gets a strikeout. 1 away. And that'll bring up Jesse Barfield. Barfield hitting .320 on the replay. 24 homers, 64 driven in. He hit .263 real world. 3-8 against the lefty, and that's 2-8. 3-8 is a single, 1-16. That's a base hit. Jesse Barfield. And he's not really that big of a threat to run, so they won't even hold him on. Here's George Bell. Bell hitting .292 on the replay, 21 homers, 59 driven in. He hit .308 in the real season. Tanana could use a double play right about now. 3-8, and he'll get it right on cue. That is a ground ball shortstop A. That is going to be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania, the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but certainly the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor-Made Double Play. If you're in the Lemoyne, Pennsylvania area, be sure to stop by and check them out. So the home run for Fernandez, but that's all they get thanks to the double play. We will go to the top of the second, the 1-0 ball game. And leading things off for the Tigers will be, seems like it's tilted on me a little bit. Let's go this way. Hello, Yoko. Sure. It looks like it's, I turn all the only thing I can do is turn the overhead light out, but it seems like it's a little bit bright to me. Let me try to turn this overhead light, the room light off, and see if that makes it better or worse. I don't know. It might make it worse. Somebody can let me know. But I turned that off, so hopefully that's better now, because I felt like may have been too bright. All right, so here we go. And I've never been accused of being too bright, but maybe on this video, the presentation was too bright, so we'll try to correct that. All right, so Matt Noakes will lead things off, the catcher. Noakes hitting 308, 17 homers, 54 driven in on the replay, hit 289 real world. And we get a 4-6, and that's going to be a base on balls. First walk issued by Clancy. First walk issued by Clancy. Oh, happy birthday, Yoko. I'm not sure if I should call you Yoko or Yoku. I'm not sure the best way to decipher your name there. And speaking of birthdays, I was going through some old paperwork and actually found the adoption papers for Tabby. We got her July 2016. Yoko works, thank you. We got her July 16th, and her birthday is November the 16th, 2014. So she's not quite as old as we thought she was. We thought she was closer to 13. She's actually not even 11 and a half yet. She'll be 11 and a half, I guess, next month. So November the 16th, write it down. That's Tabby's birthday, 2014. So she will be 12 years old coming up on this November 16th. So she's not quite as old as we thought, which is a good sign. If we get another year or so out of her to have her around, that would be nice. All right, here's Pat Sheridan. Sheridan hitting 255, 3 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 259 real world. And that's a 5-6, and that's going to be a strikeout for Clancy. That's his first strikeout after going with the walk. Here's Darrell Evans, first baseman. And Mr. Evans is hitting, whoops, get to my screen here. Evans is hitting 295 on the replay, 17 homers, 44 driven in. He hit 257 real world. 2-8. 2-8 is a ground ball third base B, and that's a fielder's choice, 5-4. 5-4 fielder's choice. And also on Tabby's paperwork, I noticed that whoever had it, I guess the people that rescued her or whatever, didn't know what to name her, so they gave her the name Genevieve. That was her name when we adopted her. It was Genevieve. But of course, when I looked at her, I said, no, you're Tabby. You're not Genevieve. So none of this Genevieve stuff. All right, so here's Chet Lemon now with 2 outs and a runner at first. Evans not being held. 207 average on the replay for Lemon, 4 homers, 17 driven in. He at 277 real world. That's a 6-9, and that's a 1-14 single. That's a 12. It's only 1 star, so runners now at first and second. 2 outs in our first clutch situation, and it's going to fall on Tom Brookins, the third baseman and number 9 hitter. And Brookins in the clutch will lose some hits. 2-9, 2-10, he loses hits. So on the replay, he's hitting 244, 4 homers, 19 driven in. He at 241 real world. 5-9 again. That's a fly ball to center field, and that will end the inning. So Clancy pitches around a walk and a hit, keeps the Tigers off the board. We go to the bottom of the second. Still Toronto 1 and Detroit nothing. Due up for the Blue Jays, it'll be the designated hitter, Cecil Fielder, followed by Kelly Gruber and Garth Orge. With the lefty on the mound, they dropped the lefty hitting Upshaw all the way down to number 8 spot. All right, so Fielder, I should say, Cecil Fielder, is hitting 288 on the replay, 13 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 269 real world. That's a 6-5, and that's a fly to center field. Chet Lemon runs it down, 1 away. Big out to get there, Mr. Fielder, tough hitter. Here's Kelly Gruber. Gruber hitting 319 on the replay, 7 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 235 real world, so he's definitely done much better than real world. 6-4. Catcher X, we're looking at Matt Noakes. He's a 4-E1, but with nobody on base, they don't have to worry about a pass ball or wild pitch. 4 and a 3 should still be just a ground out, I would assume. 4 and a 3 is a WG, so that's no problem because the W is ineffective. That is a total of 10, and he is an E1, so that's not a problem. The only error on a catcher is one. E1 is a 17. So it will be a ground out. W/G. 2-3. 2 quick outs. And that takes us to Garth Iorg, second baseman. Iorg hitting 153 on the replay. No homers, 12 driven in. He hit 210 real world. 1-3 against the lefty. He's going to line it right to third base, where Brookins will haul it in. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Frank Tanana. And at the end of 2 complete, it's still 1-0 Blue Jays. The home run by Tony Fernandez, the only run of the game. Top of the third we go, and it's the top of the order for the Tigers. And it's going to be Lou Whitaker. He singled, but was erased on the fielder's choice his first time up. That's a 4-7, and that's going to be a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Garth Iorg. 4E13. 4 and a 13 should get him out of trouble. I would think he would get to that. Let's check it out here. 4 and a 13 is a G3. That's a 10, and he is an E13. Second base, E13 is a 14, 3, and 18, but no 10. So Garth Iorg will retire Whitaker for out number 1. 1 down. And that will send up Bill Madlock. 4-8, and that's going to be a 1-8 is a double. That's an 18 though, so he'll fly it to left, and George Bell will haul it in. 2 down. And that sends up Kirk Gibson. 2-11 for Gibson is a ballpark blast. 1-11, that's gone. Kirk Gibson, home run number 12 on the replay, and the Tigers have tied this ball game. Look at it again. 2-11 is a ballpark blast for Kirk Gibson. Of course, he has normal power. It's a 1-11 at Exhibition Stadium. Devil dies a 3. It's gone. Kirk Gibson home run has tied this ball game. Kirk Gibson in real world 87 season hit 24 home runs. This is his 12th. He's reached the halfway mark. RBI for him, number 36. And the Tigers have tied this game at a run apiece. Clancy done in by the long ball. And that brings up Alan Trammell. 3-4 for Trammell, and that's going to be a pop-up to Garth Iorg at second base to end the inning. But now we are tied, courtesy of Kirk Gibson. So we go to the bottom half of the third, and now what is a 1-1 tie. Leading off will be Willie Upshaw, first baseman. Upshaw on the replay is only hitting 204. 2 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 244 real world. Lefty-lefty matchup 1-3. That's a single to center field for Upshaw. Leadoff single. Upshaw could think about trying to get the lead, but a 9 or a 10 he gets caught stealing. But as I said before, if you don't attempt these steals, you're never going to get the caught stealing in the replay. So he's going to try for the lead. If he gets the lead, he's going to go. He needs a 3 through 7. That's an 8, so it's irrelevant because that didn't fall anywhere. 8's nowhere in the category, so there is no play there. And now the catcher, Charlie Moore, number 9 hitter. He is hitless. He's 0 for 12 in the replay since coming on to the team. He hit 215 real world in 107 at-bats. With 1 homer and 7 runs batted in, but 0 for 12 on the replay to this point. 6-11, that's a base on balls. So Tanana walking the weak number 9 hitter is not going to help his cause. All of a sudden, you got first and second, nobody out, and now you got the top of the order coming up, Tony Fernandez, who just happened to homer his last time up. So not exactly where Tanana wants to find himself. 5-7, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ground ball shortstop X. This could be a double play, possibly. Trammell with that 1. And at 18, it will definitely be a G1. It's just a matter of whether he boots it or not. That's a 9. Trammell is an E21 at short. E21, there's a 6, 15, and 17, but no 9. So yet again, another Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. For 2 quick outs, Upshaw does take third base, but boy, that was a huge double play to help Tanana get out of the inning so far. Now he's got 2 outs and a runner at third, so he's not out of the woodwork yet, but he's a lot closer. And lefty Lloyd Mosby is up. In the clutch for Mosby, since this is a clutch situation, he loses a hit on 3-9. 2-7, though, is going to be a strikeout. So Tanana really pitches out of the trouble. And of course, that double play was a huge part of it. Then he gets the strikeout to end the inning, get away unscathed after first 2 got on with nobody out. So we go to the 4th. Still tied at 1 apiece. Clancy back out. Will face Matt Noakes. Noakes singled. I'm sorry, he walked his first time up. 4-6 against Clancy. He's going to walk for a second time. Might have been the same roll. That's 2 walks for Clancy. Both of them been issued to Matt Noakes. And that brings up Sheridan, who struck out his first chance. 3-6, and that's a single to center field. Noakes will stop at second base very smartly, not try to do anything weird. First and second, nobody out. Same situation that Tanana just went through. And now here's Darrell Evans. 5-7 lefty. Ground ball shortstop X. We could have a repeat of what we just had because Tony Fernandez is also a 1. Possible double play. 1 to 17 is definitely a G1. We're just checking for an error. That's a 13. That could be problematic. He's 17 and a 13 for a shortstop. E7, nope, there's a 15, 16, and 17. So it will be yet again another Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Boy, they're getting a whole lot of advertisement today. The 3rd Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. And it's deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra would say, as the double play comes in with runs at first and second and nobody out, and all of a sudden now you got 2 outs and a runner at third and a chance to get out of the inning for Clancy. Just has to get Chet Lemon. It is a clutch situation for Lemon. He does lose a hit on 3-12. Everywhere else he is neutral. 3-3, and that's a ground ball to third. That'll do it, as third baseman Kelly Gruber makes the play, and Clancy gets out of the mess. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-1. Both teams losing opportunities with runners on base. Tanana back out. He'll be facing Barfield, Bell, and Fielder. Hardly order here for the Blue Jays. 2-6, and that's a strikeout. Big strikeout for Tanana, his 3rd. And that'll send us to George Bell. He hit into one of those Giovanni Tailor Shop's double plays last time up. 2-11, this time he grounds it to third. Easy play for Brookins, 2 down. 2 up, 2 down for Cecil Fielder. 2-8 for Fielder. That's a double 1 to 15, and that's a 15 right on the nose, so it's 2-out double for Cecil Fielder. He's in scoring position with 2 outs for Kelly Gruber. We'll check Gruber in the clutch. Against lefties, he loses a hit 3-9 and also 2-3. So loses a couple of hits in the clutch. Gruber nubbed one in front of the plate that Matt Noakes threw him out on the first at bat. 3-3 against the lefty. It's a fly ball to right field, and that's going to end the inning. So Tanana pitches around that 2-out double. And we played 4 complete from Exhibition Stadium, and the score is 1-1. Nice pitcher's duel so far. But there are still 5 innings remaining, if not more. Clancy back out. Both pitchers. Tanana has a fatigue of 6, Clancy a fatigue of 7. So they're still okay as far as fatigue goes. And that'll bring up Tom Brookins to lead it off. 3-8 for Brookins, and that's a ground ball to short. Tony Fernandez will make the play. 1 away. And that'll take us to Lou Whitaker. And already I can see that I'm starting to lose some of that peripherals. So I may back this up just a hair. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can make sure that everything is showing. All right. Hopefully you can still see the cards all right. Here's Whitaker. 3-8. And that's going to be a 1-2 double. But that's a 9. So it'll be a fly ball to right field, hauled in by the right fielder, Barfield. And there is now 2 away. 2 up, 2 down. Madlock steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Get a 4-8, and that's going to be a 1-8 double, but that's an 11, so he's going to fly it to left field. George Bell hauls it in. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Clancy. You go to the bottom of the 5th, still tied at 1. A couple of solo homers, the only runs of the game. Tanana back out. And he will be facing bottom of the order, Orge, Upshaw, and Moore for the Blue Jays. Four-6 off Tanana is a 1-8 single. That's a 14, so he will line it to short. Snagged by Trammell. 1 away for Willie Upshaw. Upshaw singled his first chance. 4-7. That's a ground ball second base X. Lou Whitaker, 2E20. 2 and a 14. He'll get to that. We're checking the E20, and that's an 8. I don't think there'll be a problem with that, but you never know until you look. E20, there is no 8. There's a 3, 13, 8, 3, 13, 18, and 17. So no problems there for Whitaker. He makes the play. 2 down. 2 outs. Bases are empty now for Charlie Moore. It's a 2-7 for Moore, and that's a base on balls. So for Tanana, that is his second walk, and both have gone to Charlie Moore, the number 9 hitter. Now, why is this thing going black and white on me? This is weird. I must have hit a button on this remote by accident. So let me bring some color back into here, hopefully. Yeah, I hit something on this remote. It's kind of my way. I had to move it, but there's a color palette button on here. If you hit that, it goes to black and white. So hopefully it's back to where it needs to be. Moore is no threat to run at first base. And here's Tony Fernandez. 1-8 for Fernandez, and that's going to be a single to right field. Sheridan's arm is a -3, so even with the hit to right field, I don't know if Moore is going to try it. We'll see. He's a 12. Not being held makes him a 13. 2 outs will make him a 15. Going from right field to third base, you add 2 more, makes him a 17. And the -3 will make it a 14. So it'll be a 1-14. But boy, if you throw him out, you got Mosby coming up. I just don't think being at third base with 2 outs makes that big of a difference. Not enough to risk it. So we're going to keep it first and second. 2 outs. Clutch situation for Lloyd Mosby. I thought about going, but thought better of it. And in the clutch, he loses that hit 3-9. Does Mosby. We get a 1-6 for Mosby, and that's a strikeout. Mosby's got the hat trick. He has struck out all. The only 3 of the 4 strikeouts for Tanana are all on Mosby. He has the definitive hat trick, and that will end the inning. Well, if I knew he was going to do that, I guess I would have sent him after all. Huh? All right, so that's going to end the inning. We go to the 6th. Still 1-1. Still a 1-1 ball game. Clancy will be facing the heart of the order for the Tigers here in the 6th. It will be Gibson, Trammell, and Noakes, your scheduled hitters. Whoa, hit the wrong button there, didn't I? Let's back this sucker out. I hit the wrong button there. I was trying to get more color in there. I hit the zoom button by mistake. So we don't want to do that. I think I could do it there, though. I can get that close without missing a whole lot of stuff. That is a 6-5. Clancy against the left-hander. That's a fly to left, and George Bell makes the play. 1 away, and that will send up Alan Trammell. 4-8 for Clancy. That is a 1-8 double. That's a 17, so another fly ball out to George Bell. 2 up and 2 down for Matt Noakes. 2-6, and for Noakes, that's a single. Center field, 2-out single for Noakes. He's reached base all 3 times. No threat to run. And that'll bring up Pat Sheridan. Now, I could do extreme close-up, I guess. There we go. That's the extreme close-up. If you want to get a good close look at Pat Sheridan's card, there it is on the extreme close-up. And now we'll take it back to where it needs to be. As we see Darrell Evans coming to the plate. I'm sorry, Pat Sheridan at the plate. I don't know why I said Darrell Evans. It's actually Pat Sheridan. All right, here we go. Evans again. I'm sorry, Noakes rather is no threat to run. Here's Sheridan. 4-5, and that's a strikeout for Clancy. And for Clancy, that is only his second strikeout. He's gotten Sheridan twice, and that's been it. But the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 1-1. And this is now the fatigue inning for Frank Tanana. It is his fatigue inning for Mr. Tanana. And he'll be facing the heart of the order. Barfield, Bell, and Fielder are your scheduled hitters. Do this real quick and get everything up to speed. There we go. All right. So the good thing about with a lefty on the mound, we're only concerned on the batter card with the blue stuff. So don't even need to see this part over here. So that will help, to say the least. So here's Barfield. 6-4 on Tanana is a catcher X. So we're looking at Noakes again, 4-E1, but nobody's on base, so he gets a break there. 4-16, probably a pop-up of some kind, foul out, something like that. Let's take a look here on the chart. 4-16 for a catcher is a pop-up or foul out. P/F would be a foul out. That's a 6, and of course no error there on an E1. So it's going to be a foul out. Barfield fouls it out behind the plate to Matt Noakes. And there's 1 away, and here's George Bell. This thing's supposed to have autofocus on it, so hopefully it's doing its job. I don't know. 6-10, and this is a ground ball third base X, and that's going to be Tom Brookins. He's a 3-E21. 3 and a 7 for a third baseman. 3 and a 7. We are looking at a G3. And he's in, it's a 6, and he's an E21. And there is a 6 right here. Let's get a close-up here on this chart. E21, you see the 6 right there. E21 and a 6 is right there. And the 6 is right there. So Tom Brookins boots it. Bell will reach. And Bell will try for the lead. He needs a 3 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. Here's Cecil Fielder. 3-9 for Fielder. That's a base on balls. And now the Tiger bullpen might start to stir a bit as Tanana running into a little bit of issues. 2 on, 1 out for Kelly Gruber. Of course, Tanana could certainly use that double play to come along right about now. That's a 2-8, and they get that once again. Giovanni's Tailor Shop has stepped in once again to sponsor this double play, this tailor-made double play on the ground ball shortstop A. You want a close-up of it? Here you go. 2-8 against the lefty, ground ball shortstop A. It's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, the 4th one of the game, and that keeps the score at 1 apiece. And keeps Tanana in the game. So just when you thought they were going to get Tanana out of the game and go to the bullpen, we end up getting the double play that gets them out of the jam. So we go to the top of the 7th, and this will be the fatigue inning for Jim Clancy. Due up for the Tigers. Will be Darrell Evans. It'll be Evans, Lemon, and Brookins. We are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is definitely now on the table for sure. So we'll see if that comes into play as well. So let's back this puppy up just a touch so we can get the right side of the card in. Whoop, too far. Didn't want to go that far back. But I want you to be able to see the cards. So, all right. So Darrell Evans will lead it off here against Clancy. That's a 3-6 for Evans, and that's a base on balls. So Darrell Evans draws the walk. He is no threat to run. Brings up Chet Lemon. If he was a decent bunter, I'd probably bunt with him, but he's not a decent bunter. That's a 4-3, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-9. That's a 4, so Lemon will get a base hit. First and second, nobody out, and now Toronto's bullpen might start to stir. Now, Brookins is an A bunter, so we will have Brookins bunt. This is the prototypical time you want him to bunt. Get those runners in scoring position, and at the same time avoid yet another Giovanni's Tailor Shop double play. So he will be bunting. And the bunt will go to the 6, which on here, on our chart, 6 is a third baseman. Right there, third baseman with the 6. So it is. That means it's going to go to Kelly Gruber. And since he is a B bunter, basically need a 9 or less to have a good bunt. And we get a 9, which is right there on the sacrifice. So good play. The bunt is successful. It's going to go 5-4 on the sacrifice bunt, and both runners move up 90 feet. And that's going to cause Toronto to bring the infield in for Lou Whitaker's at bat. There's a potential thought of walking Whitaker to load the bases and set up another double play. But I think they might be better off just doing Whitaker with the infield in. Maybe that's the better option. You start walking guys, you get guys all over the base paths. So they're going to play in. No question about it. Lou Whitaker, the batter. Infield is in. 5-10. That's a ballpark single check once again. 1-9. That's an 8. Doesn't matter where they're playing. That's a base hit on the 5-10. So Lou Whitaker comes through with an RBI single to score Darrell Evans from third base. Lemon will move over to third. So runners are at the corners. It's now a 2-1 Tiger lead, and now the Blue Jay bullpen starting to stir. And let's see who's coming up for the... Looks like Gary Lavelle loosening in the bullpen, left-hander for the Blue Jays. So Whitaker is aboard, and he can get a steal on a 4 or a 5, or get a lead, I should say, on a 4 or a 5. Does not get the lead. Here's Madlock. Infield now playing back for the double play. It's a 4-8, and that's not going to happen. 1-8 is a double. That's a 3. It's a double to left field. This is the way I play it, and if anybody else has a different idea, let me know. On a 4-8 right here, let me bring him in and get clarity here. 4-8 double, 1-8, but a fly out to left field, 9-20. Now the rule book says if it's not listed where the double is, it's assumed to go to center field. But my philosophy is the ball was hit out to left field because it's possible for the left fielder to catch it. So in my mind, the left fielder is now the one engaged in fielding. That's just the way I play it. Maybe it's a home brew, but that's just to me, it's more of a common sense thing instead of just defaulting to center field all the time. So I am playing this as went to left field, George Bell. So we'll see what happens. Madlock got the double. We know Lemon's going to score. And this is going to be all for Clancy. He's done now. Whitaker runs at a 15. Was being held, makes him a 14. Bell is a -2 arm, makes him a 12. So I think on a 1-12, they will just hold him at third base. But that will be it for Jim Clancy. Clancy's day is done. And like I said, if anybody else finds a different way that you think that should have been played or interpreted, you can let me know. But I'm just going by what I see on the cards. And we got to go to the bullpen. And they will bring in Gary Lavelle. So Gary Lavelle will come on and face Kirk Gibson. Lefty-lefty matchup. And Lavelle on the replay. Let's get his numbers here. Let's get his card first of all. Then we'll get his numbers. As Kirk Gibson is your batter. So it is a lefty-lefty matchup. So Gary Lavelle. On the real season, 2-3, 5.53 ERA and a save. On the replays, 4-0. So he's vulturing some wins, but his ERA is 8.64. 8 innings pitched, 14 hits, 7 walks, 7 strikeouts. So he's been vulturing some wins. But interesting interpretation midlife. I guess you could, kind of a homebrew thing. And in our case, it really didn't matter because the runner didn't try to go. So. All right, so second and third, 1 out. Infield is in for Kirk Gibson's at bat. Infield has to be in. There's no question about it. 5-6, and that's a strikeout for Gary Lavelle. He came in and got what he needed, a strikeout of Kirk Gibson. And now with 2 outs and first base open, it's a no-brainer to intentionally walk the league's leading hitter, Alan Trammell, to face another lefty in Matt Noakes. And that's exactly what the Blue Jays are doing. Bases are now loaded for Matt Noakes. Bases loaded, Matt Noakes. It is obviously a clutch situation for Mr. Noakes, and we can zoom in a little bit because we do not need the right-hand side of the cards. It's lefty-lefty in this case. So we're only looking at the lefty side, the blue side. All right, so for Matt Noakes in the clutch, loses a hit on 1-6 and 112, and that's it. 1-6 and 112. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. Top of the 7th, 2 runs are already in. We get a 2-2, and that's a low max. That's a low max to second base. There are already 2 outs, so there's no triple play or double play or anything like that, but that 2-2 is the low max. And so Lavelle comes in and does his job for sure to end the inning. Forgot to write Lavelle on the score sheet. That would help. But 2 runs come in for the Tigers. And we'll get back to our normal viewing here. So Lavelle does what they ask of him, keeps them in the game. Go to our box score and get the totals now on Jim Clancy. And now Tanana has a chance to secure a victory if he can keep it going. For Clancy, he goes 6 1/3. And he will give up 8 hits and 3 runs, all earned. Walk 3, strikeout 2. And now Tanana only gave up a walk in his fatigue inning, so he's still good to go. And he'll be facing Orge, Upshaw, and Moore. Of course, there could be some pinch hitting involved. We look at the Blue Jay bench and see who they have available. On the bench for the Blue Jays, if they decide to pinch hit, we got Rance Mullenix. We got Rick Leach, but they're all left-handed. Fred McGriff, another lefty. Ernie Witt, another lefty. So they're all lefties except for Manny Lee at second base. He's the only non-lefty. So the fact that Tanana's in there, they put all the lefties on the bench. So unless the Tigers bring in a righty relief pitcher, I don't see a whole lot of pinch hitting going on. So it looks like we're going to stick with Garth Orge. 3-1 Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. Tanana gets the K, and that is his strikeout number 5 for Tanana. Hello, Jason. Good to see you. So Tanana with the K on Orge. 1 away, and that brings up Willie Upshaw, lefty-lefty matchup. Upshaw 1 for 2 against Tanana. 3-7, and that's another strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts by Tanana. Seems like he's getting stronger as the game goes on. And that'll bring up catcher Charlie Moore. And Moore, once again, is now 0 for 13 on the replay. I'm sorry, he's 1 for 13. He did have a hit. He's 1 for 3. He's hitting 0.77. But he has walked a couple times. So 3-11, and that's going to be a double right there. Charlie Moore, a solid double. 2-out double for Charlie Moore. That'll help the old average. And now Tony Fernandez coming up as the tying run. It is a clutch situation. In the clutch for Fernandez against a left-hander, he is completely rated as neutral. Tanana trying to finish this 7th inning. 1-7, and that's a double 1-3. That's a 6. It's a single 2 stars. Moore will score. Lead is cut to 3-2. RBI single from Tony Fernandez. He has both RBIs for the Blue Jays in this game. Lead has been cut to 3-2. Tiger bullpen tossing in earnest. Look down there and see who it is. I can get a uniform number down there and see who is tossing. Looks to be Eric King. He's the only one that's not tired down there besides Mark Thurman, and Mark Thurman has been awful lately. So Eric King did have 9 saves real world. So Eric King is loosening in the Tiger bullpen. But right now, Tanana is going to face the lefty Mosby. This will be his last batter. One way or the other, he's not going to face anybody after Mosby. Now, Fernandez could be looking to get the lead. Needs a 6 or a 7 to obtain a good lead. And he gets the good lead, which means he's going to steal 18. Being held as a 16. Plus 2 is back to the 18. That's a stolen base plus a possible throwing error on the catcher Noakes. His T rating is a 7. No throwing error, but it will be a stolen base for Tony Fernandez. He's kind of doing a little bit of everything for the Jays. If we look at Fernandez, get his stolen base total. Real world, he stole 32 bases, got caught 12 times. This is stolen base number 15. He's been caught 8. So 15th stolen base of the season for Tony Fernandez. And he's in scoring position now for Lloyd Moseby. Turns this into a clutch at bat now for Moseby. And Moseby in the clutch against lefties will lose a hit on 3-9. 3-2 ball game, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, but the tying run at second base with good speed in Fernandez. That's a 2-11, and that's a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. And that will do it for Tanana. He's going to go 7 innings. Give up 2 runs. They were earned. We'll get the full totals as I go to the box score. After we put in this ground ball to short. So we'll go to our box score and get the totals on Mr. Tanana. Frank Tanana, 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. Walked 2, struck out 6, and he is in line to get the win. If the Tigers can hold it, he would improve to 4-5, and Clancy would drop to 8-3. But we shall see. And Eric King will be the new pitcher in the 8th inning for the Tigers. He is a -1 hold, which makes him a 0. So we go to the top of the 8th, 3-2 Detroit. Due up for the Tigers. Sheridan, Evans, and Lemon against Gary Lavelle. And again, we're only looking at the blue sections because it's lefty versus lefty. So we can maybe zoom in a couple of notches here on the lefty versus lefty. One more notch. Lefty versus lefty. That is a 1-8 for Sheridan, and he's going to strike out. Sheridan out on strikes. Brings up Darrell Evans. That is a 3-7. I know it's got cut off a little bit, but it is a 3-7. And he will pop it up to first for Upshaw. 2 up, 2 down, and that brings up Chet Lemon. 1-2 for Lemon. That's a ground ball to third, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Gary Lavelle here in the 8th. Lavelle certainly doing his job. Not sure if he'll come back for the next inning or whether it'll go to somebody else. Right now, the Tigers are going to Eric King. And we'll zoom in and get the numbers on Eric King. Eric King, 6-3. I'm sorry, 6-9 with a 4.89 ERA. Did have 6 saves on the real season, did Mr. King. And he will be facing Barfield, Bell, and Fielder. Those are the scheduled hitters. You do have some, of course, a lot of left-handers on the bench for the Blue Jays if they decide to go that route. And now let's back things up to where they need to be so we can see the score sheet and the dice and everything else. All right, so let's bring in Eric King on the computer. We need to do that for sure. And get everything set up. I don't think the Tigers are going for any kind of defensive changes or anything like that. So King will be coming on. And on the replay, look at Eric King's numbers. He is 2-2 with 3 saves and a 2.59 ERA, so much better in the replay than he was in real world. 56 innings pitched, 48 hits, 19 walks, 39 strikeouts. And he's going to face Barfield, Bell, and at least initially, Fielder. That is a 6-8. Eric King on a 6-8 is a 1-18 single. That's a 17 base hit for Jesse Barfield. Barfield with the base hit. Not going to go anywhere, obviously. Here comes George Bell. George Bell. That's a 211 for Bell. That is a fly ball to right field. Fly ball to right field for George Bell. One away. And that brings up Cecil Fielder. Do they pinch hit for Fielder? I think they will. Fielder mostly batters left-handed pitching, but as we can see on his card, he only faced righties 13% of the time. So they are going to the bench rather, and they are going to get the left-handed platoon at DH, and that's Fred McGriff. So Fred McGriff is going to pinch hit for Cecil Fielder. And, of course, he'll stay in the game as the DH. So the crime dog, Fred McGriff, will pick up a bat with a runner at first and one out, and we'll get the numbers on McGriff. Let's see, Barfield singled, Bell flew to right. Now we go to the bench for the crime dog. And on the replay, McGriff is hitting 256, 11 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 247 real world. So King to McGriff with Barfield at first and one out. Barfield not being held on. 3-6 for McGriff, and that is a strikeout. Strikeout by McGriff, and in case people were curious, Cecil Fielder on a 3-6 would have hit a 2-run home run. So what do you know? You play the percentages and it doesn't work out. But a 3-6 from McGriff would have been a 1-11 home run. And of course, with that D20 being a 6, that would have been a 2-run home run for Fred McGriff. I mean for Cecil Fielder, but we went for the percentages. That's what Jimmy Williams would have done. And that's what he did. And unfortunately for him, the dice didn't shake out the way they wanted. All right, Kelly Gruber, 2 outs. He is 0 for 3 as Mr. Gruber. They're going to pinch hit for him as well with Rance Mullenix. They're going to Rance Mullenix off the bench, and he'll stay in the game to play third base. Now that we've got all these lefties on the bench, the righty in the game, and it doesn't help that Gruber's 0 for 3 in the game. So they will go to Rance Mullenix, and he'll stay in the game to play third base in the 9th inning. So we go to the bench, or to the computer rather, and make sure to bring in Mullenix. 2 outs, runner at first, down 3-2. Mullenix on the replay checks in at hitting 366 in 142 at bats, 7 home runs, 25 driven in. He hit 310 real world. So King to Mullenix. That's a 1-6, and he strikes out. So back-to-back strikeouts by Eric King on the Toronto pinch hitters. And he says, bring them on, I'll strike them out. And we go to the 9th inning. Still a 3-2 ball game, and now we need to bring in Mullenix to play third base. Now the question is, do they stick with the lefty Lavelle, or do they go to the bullpen? You got Brookins, Whitaker, and Madlock, 2 righties. 2 out of 3 are right-handed. So the Blue Jays may go to their bullpen here. They're going to go to Mark Eichhorn out of the bullpen. Mark Eichhorn. Very strange spelling with the 2 H's, but that's just the way he spells it. And let's get Mr. Eichhorn so we can see his numbers. He is a hold, I believe, a +9. Yeah, so he's terrible on the hold. For Lavelle, he gave up a walk, which was intentional, struck out 2, but he pitched an inning and 2/3, giving up nothing else. So now Eichhorn is on. And 10-6, 3.17 ERA, real world, with 4 saves. In the replays, 1-1 with 1 save and a 3.74 ERA. And I think I'm going to move him, or move these cards over here a little bit so we can see this better. Brookins will lead off here against Mr. Eichhorn. Brookins facing Eichhorn. 3-2 ball game, top of the 9th. 6-4, and that's a pop out to shortstop. Tony Fernandez makes the play, 1 away for Lou Whitaker. 4-10 off of Eichhorn is a ballpark single check. 1-9, that's a 7, so base hit for Whitaker. And for Whitaker, he is now 3 for 5, is Mr. Whitaker. And of course, with the +5 over here, he's going to definitely be looking to get a lead. 4 or a 5. Does not get the lead, so he'll hold. Here's Madlock. 5-6, and that's going to be a 1-8 double. That's a 12, so just a fly to left. 2 down. And now Kirk Gibson is up. No more lefties in the bullpen for the Blue Jays, so it's Eichhorn or bust right here. Gibson is 1 for 4 with a home run. Now Whitaker at first base with 2 outs, trying to get an insurance run. 1-6, and he struck him out. So Eichhorn does the job there, striking out Gibson, keeping the score at 3-2. And it's up to Eric King to save the game. He did have 9 saves real world. Coming up for the Blue Jays, bottom of the order, Orge, Upshaw, and Moore. But Orge and Moore, neither one of those guys will hit. They will be going to the bench, rather. We will have Rick Leach will hit for Orge, and Ernie Witt's going to hit for Moore. And if the game goes extra innings, they would bring in Manny Lee to play second base. But right now, Rick Leach is going to pick up a bat and hit. Then they'll have Upshaw, and then after that, it'll be Ernie Witt pinch hitting for Moore. So it's going to be Leach, Upshaw, and Witt. Those are the 3 scheduled hitters for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 9th. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put these over here and just pull them in when I need them. All right, let's go first of all. Whoa. Let's go first of all to the bench. Well, first of all, I didn't put this top of the 9th inning in the computer, so I need to do that first. First things first before I go anywhere else and make any other moves. All right, so pinch hitting time. Garth Orge is out and Rick Leach is in. Rick Leach on the replay hitting .298, 2 homers, 8 driven in. He at .282 real world. Eric King facing Leach. We get a 3-4 for Leach, and that's a line out to McGriff at first base. Line out first base on the 3-4 to McGriff. There you see it, line out first base on the 3-4. Or actually to, not McGriff, but to Darrell Evans. 1 away for Willie Upshaw. 2-12 for Upshaw. That is a fly to center field. Make sure you can see that as well. Fly ball center field for Willie Upshaw. 2 down. And now it's all up to Ernie Witt, pinch hitting for Charlie Moore. And we'll get the numbers on Witt on the replay. So as I bring him in on the computer, Ernie Whitt. On the replay, Ernie Whitt is hitting 290. 7 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 269 real world. Did have 19 homers on the real season. One long ball would tie this game. 1-6, that's a base on balls. So Ernie Whitt will walk. Can't pinch run for him because there's nobody else to catch. So he'll have to just hold there and run on his own. And now we're back to Tony Fernandez. And one guy for Toronto that's been doing everything for him has been Tony Fernandez. Fernandez, homers and 2 singles, plus a stolen base. King trying to finish off this ball game. That's a 5-6 switch hitter batting left. That's a strikeout, and the ball game is over. Eric King, there's a dot there, but he's not tired. So Eric King strikes out Fernandez to end the ball game and secure the victory for Detroit. 3-2 the final. And we'll go to our box score and get the totals and get you ready for tomorrow's game. So the winning pitcher is Frank Tanana. He is now 4-5. Eric King picks up his 4th save. King goes two innings, gives up a hit, nothing else. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Losing pitcher was Clancy. He drops to 8-3. Eichhorn goes 1 inning, gives up a hit with a strikeout, nothing else. Final line score for the Tigers, 3 runs, 9 hits. 3 runs, 9 hits, and an error. For the Blue Jays, 2 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Tigers left 9 on. Blue Jays left 8 on. Not quite sure who the player of the game should be. Whitaker was 3 for 5. But really, well, he did have a single here that drove in a run. Really, Fernandez had the best day, but he's on a losing team. Tanana, maybe 7 innings, 2 runs. That's a possibility. You can make your own guesses there. But with this victory, Toronto falls to 41-22. Detroit improves to 44-27 as they try to get a little bit closer in the AL East. In fact, now with this game in hand, look at the standings. Toronto is a game and a half back of Milwaukee. Detroit is now 7 games back of Milwaukee. So Detroit now pulls within a game and a half of the Yankees and within a 5.5 of second place Toronto. So we look ahead to tomorrow's game. And tomorrow we'll be in Kansas City. It'll be the Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals. Good pitching matchup. Dave Stewart against Brett Saberhagen. That'll be your matchup. So there you have it. Let's move this out of the way. Don't need this there anymore. Let's bring this front and center. The score sheet front and center. There you have it. There's your ball game. 3-2 ball game. And game number 439 is in the books. We go to game 440. Haven't filled out the score sheet yet. Got it blank, so we'll start filling that out. But it'll be game number 440 from Royal Stadium. And it will be Saberhagen for the Royals against Dave Stewart, the Oakland A's. So it will be Oakland and Kansas City. A June the 17th date. And as we look at the records, Oakland first place in the American League West. Go to our standings and take a look at what we got with that. Everybody is looking up at Oakland chasing them. Oakland 37-25. And they currently hold a 5-game lead over California, 6.5 over Kansas City. So it is imperative for Kansas City to win. They are 33-31. They don't want to keep falling further and further behind the Oakland A's. So there is your ball game. Hope you all have a nice Wednesday, whatever you have planned. Hopefully the weather is pretty decent where you are as well. But for now, we flip back over to the just completed game. Detroit topping Toronto by the score of 3-2. Winning pitcher Frank Tanana improves to 4-5. Losing pitcher Jim Clancy drops to 8-3. Eric King picks up his fourth save. Home runs in the game. Kirk Gibson hit his 12th, and Tony Fernandez hit his 3rd. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.